You guys, excuse my French, but I'm freaking the fuck out. Matt and I just realized, because I don't know, because I'm a freaking dumbass and I did not put two and two together, that we saw, not only saw, but saw like a blowout of a situation between Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie in Wyoming when we were there. I'm freaking the fuck out. Yes, we have already talked to authorities. Like, how I did not put two and two together that this happened, like, I don't know. So I'm following this case. Matt's not. He's a guy. He has other shit going on. He could probably care less. I'm filling him in on this case a couple days ago, and I guess maybe he Googled it and saw a picture of Brian. Matt has an insane photographic memory. And so for 2 days now, he's like, I fucking know that guy Brian. Like, I don't know how, but I know this guy Brian. Like, I've seen him before. Woke up this morning and he's freaking out. And he's like, oh my God, I know how he looks familiar. Nina, we saw them in Wyoming. They were the couple fighting at the restaurant.
When Brian returned to Utah, he and Gabby continued north in the van, eventually making it to Jackson, Wyoming, and Merry Piglet's restaurant on August 27th.
Yeah, it wasn't what everybody said.
It wasn't.
Not at all.
The manager did not want to go on camera, but she had a lot to say. I took notes because I wanted to get it all right. She says everything that's been on the news about what happened here is made up. She says there was no loud voices, no one got angry, no one threw a fit here, but she says that Gabby and Brian did leave the restaurant without paying, and she says that the server followed them outside, that they paid the bill out here on the street, and that Brian was very calm, but then that they came back into the restaurant together, and that Gabby said that she wanted her money back, and the restaurant said that we're not going to give you your money back, and that then Gabby and Brian left. I asked about surveillance video, and she said that they did have video, but they didn't know it was significant at the time, and that it's since been deleted.
Merry Piglet's was the last place Gabby was seen alive.
We were at this restaurant, you guys, Friday, August 27th, 1 p.m., sitting right next to them. They got kicked out of the restaurant and were fighting with the hostess. They were fighting with the hostess. She was hysterically crying. And she walked out and she was crying and she was staying on the sidewalk. And I was watching the whole thing unfold. And he walked back in the restaurant and he's fighting with the hostess. And I didn't know what happened. I don't even know if they got kicked out, but they like left abruptly. And like she was standing on the sidewalk crying, and he walked back in and was like screaming at the hostess, and then walked back out. And then he walked back in like 4 more times to talk to the manager and to like tell the hostess off. All right, I'm calming down and I'm going to try to speak more clearly. I don't even know if these videos are uploading or if they're uploading in order or if they make any sense. I'm just like freaking out right now. I'm having like an out of body experience. How I did not remember this situation, like it just like left my memory. Like we stayed in Wyoming for another 4 or 5 days for a wedding, and we just had like an amazing trip, and like I didn't think about the couple fighting in the restaurant ever again. But Matt like knew he had seen this guy before, and he could not drop it. And then it just like clicked this morning. He woke up out of bed and he was like screaming bloody murder, and he was like, oh my God, I know, I remember it was them in the restaurant. And it just like, I felt like my blood like left my body. I was like, oh my God, like you're right, like it was them. It's just crazy. It feels surreal. Like now I feel, I don't know, just it was weird. And I remember this is, oh my God. Okay, so I'm gonna try to go like more into detail now. I just wanted to get like the general, just like the gist of it out there. I feel like I'm gonna cry. This is so fucking weird. I went to the bath. They were sitting right next to us, like right fucking next to us. And we were both sitting right by the hostess stand, right by the front door. I went to the bathroom. I came back and they were like abruptly leaving. Like something happened. At first, my first like thought was like they were displeased with the service and they were walking out, or they were trying to get out of paying their bill. But it was kind of like a scene. And I was like zoned in for some reason. And Matt was like on his phone, and I was like, babe, like put your phone down. Like something is like going on. You guys, it was like a fucking scene. Like something that doesn't happen every day at a restaurant. The way he was acting, she was crying, she was upset. This had to happen right before she died. So she walks out, she's upset, she's crying, and he's like more angry. Like you could tell like it's more sadness for her, and she's crying for some reason. I don't know if she was embarrassed or what, because I don't know, I don't know what was going on. I could just see what was unfolding. And so she's standing on the sidewalk. I could see her through the front door, and she's standing on the sidewalk crying, and he walks out with her, but then like right away turns around, walks right back in, and he's, you know, kind of like violently like talking to the hostess, and you could tell he's angry, and they're just kind of like doing the whole like sorry, like we don't know what to tell you kind of thing. You could tell he was relentless. He wouldn't drop it. Whatever it was, he wouldn't drop it. He walked out. He walked back in the restaurant probably 4 more times, just to kind of make a scene and just to get his point across.
And that Brian was very calm, but then that they came back into the restaurant together, and that Gabby said that she wanted her money back, and the restaurant said that we're not going to give you your money back, and that then Gabby and Brian left.
Which, you know, I don't know what that was. I really don't know what happened, but And she just apologized. I think she was telling him, like, come on, like, just drop it, let's go. And she, like, looked at the hostess and she was just like, I'm sorry. And that was it. And it's just like I don't even know. I don't even have words right now. It's just weird. It's crazy.
What did you notice about their interaction with each other?
It wasn't so much their interaction with each other. I didn't really take notice to them at all until they got up from their table, and they were, like I mentioned in my video, abruptly leaving the restaurant. It looked as though they were like almost getting kicked out, and it was never so much, it wasn't necessarily between them. It was more so Gabby abruptly leaving the restaurant crying, and Brian was just evidently really upset, pissed off. I would say Gabby was upset. He was angry, and he was just being very temperamental towards the restaurant staff.
And it's fine if you aren't sure. Do you know what the source of his anger was, or why she was upset?
No, and I don't want to say, because I don't want to fabricate anything. I've mentioned that I mean, in the moment, when it was happening, we didn't know who these people were and we didn't know what was going to happen. But in that moment, I was thinking to myself, it seemed as though, I don't know, you think worst case scenario, like, what was something wrong with their food? Were they displeased with the service? It still doesn't, that still doesn't seem like that much anger is worth something like that. So it made me think that it seemed as if he was embarrassed and he was angry about being embarrassed. I got the feeling that they were asked to leave, or that they were being kicked out the restaurant, because it was, like I said, very abrupt. They got up very abruptly and just walked out the restaurant, and she was really upset. She was crying, and he immediately went to the hostess stand and was just, he was just going in on the hostess and the waitress, and then eventually the manager. He exited and entered the restaurant on 4 different occasions within 5 minutes. He would walk out, walk back in, walk out, walk back in. At one moment, we thought they had walked out for good. Or he had walked out for good, and he actually left for 10 minutes and then came back just to start the fight all over again.
It's really interesting. And this is just a confirmation question. You said that you and I'm not sure, your partner were sitting next to them.
Yeah, we were sitting directly next to them. There's 2 tables right by the front door, which is also the exit and also where the hostess stand is. And yeah, we were within not even a foot of each other.
Wow. And you kind of said in detail how he was acting toward the staff. Is there anything that you specifically overheard him say?
No, he was just being really aggressive. I couldn't hear any verbiage or actual words, but it just his body language, and you could obviously I could hear him, but I couldn't make out his words. He was, I would say, it was almost like he was screaming. He was really angry. That's the best I can describe it. He was just very visibly angry. It was like a dog with a bone. He wouldn't drop it. Whatever it was, he was pissed off, and he would not let it go. So much so that he would be asked to leave. I guess the restaurant staff was kind of not telling him what he wanted to hear, or maybe they were asking him to continuously leave, and he would leave and he would just re-enter within a minute, and he just kept coming back, and he wouldn't drop it. Whatever it was, he was just getting angrier.